So I gain new contacts every day. Net, I gain anywhere between 300 to 1600 a day. Every day is different. Like
Optins?
the graph. Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, guys. This is part two of my interview with Jaden here of SteamyKitchen.com. In this episode, we do a deeper dive into actual marketing tactics and what she's doing to help drive traffic to her website. And let me know in the comments section what sort of marketing channels you guys are using to drive traffic to your site and your business. Other than that, let's dive in. Over the last year, as you were trying to promote this, what platforms are you finding success in? Because like I've always said as a marketer, in a perfect world, we'd be on every platform. That's why I say to every one of my clients, but this is not a perfect world where we live in a world where we're limited by resources and time. So I'm curious, based on that idea where you have your own limitations, what platforms do you spend your time on?
Definitely not social media because everyone's fighting over every scrap of social media. I go back to television. I go back to something that people aren't fighting over because there's a higher barrier to entry. I mean, you can't just throw someone on TV and say, hey, go cook on TV. I developed my skill set so that I could do television. I wasn't, I'm not a natural on television. I had to teach myself. And, to go back to, learning a new skill. I love learning new skills. And I've three steps to learning new skills. First I find someone I really admire and I'll mimic them. Like I'll look at mannerisms and I'll look at, what do they do? How do they hold their body? What do you think they're focusing on? What do you think they believe about themselves? And, how do they speak? So I'll mimic them for a little while and like full on, copy them and practice in front of a mirror. And then pretty soon I get comfortable with it. And then the second step is, instead of mimicking, I'm mirroring. So, I'll take someone else that I admire and I'll mirror certain things that they're doing because they're effective. They probably have media training. And then the last step is make it my own. Then, I have my own personality. Then I have my own little mannerisms and quirks that are just special to me. So, really it's mimic, mirror, make it my own. That's how I master any skill. And so, back to the question that you asked, what platforms? I'll go to the platform where there's the least competition. And for right now, that's television. Okay. And it might be, streaming as well, streaming shows. Is right now it's me, I had to make peace with that. At first I was like, God, this is not on brand. Giveaways are not on brand. Product reviews are not on brand. I'm giving away a TV. How's that related to food? And I had to make peace with it and say, you know what? I don't care. This is my home. My website is my home, and I can make it anything that I want. So, that's what it is.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I always say, let the data make the decision for you. So with that said, like what sort of, because I imagine you get people who are there just for the giveaway and then they'll opt out.
But you know what? People who come for giveaways still have to eat.
True.
Right? And they still follow recipes. And so the food that's targeted to them is a little different than people who are there for my mom's famous Chinese egg roll recipe that's super authentic.
Yeah. What sort of, I guess, opt-out rate do you get, if at all? Like, is it pretty low?
Oh my God, so little. Yeah. Very, very little. I'll have to go back in the stats and active campaign and let you know. But it is, we grow our list pretty fast. And as I'm on the phone with you, maybe I'll log in and let you know. Yeah. But it's incredibly low.
And curious as to, on average, how many opt-ins do you get per giveaway?
Oh, well, I can tell you exactly.
Or even traffic.
I will let you know. Let's see. Yeah. I haven't gone into active campaign in such a long time. Okay, so let's look at reports. I don't even know how to do this. Like, I have my girl, here, contact trend. One of my girls handles all, my site manager, Amanda, handles all of my newsletters and everything. Okay, so I gain new contacts every day. Net, I gain anywhere between 300 to 1600 a day. Every day is different. Like
Optins?
the graph. Yeah. Optins. And that's net. Okay.
Yeah.
And that, that's not bad. It gets expensive. It does get pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Especially, and again, from my understanding, most people don't rely on this sort of a tactic to attract traffic to their food site.
Yeah. Let me stand corrected. I'd say the average that I get every day is around between 400 and 1,000 a day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Nice. So you said your marketing team is about 7 people. Can you describe what the roles are?
Yeah, it's actually, I'm the only marketing person. Well, marketing, that's such a weird term. Okay, so we're all in there to, most of the people that work for me, well, first of all, everyone's everywhere. So I've got Amanda who's in Canada. I've got Riley's in Colorado. I've got Laura in Chicago. And then I have one girl here, Parker's here. We all work on content. They work on content. Let me rephrase that. They work on content for Steamy Kitchen. And then I just gave up social media. Like, I don't like doing this. So now, Riley's taken over the role of doing social media for me. And Amanda helps me with managing everybody. But, there's a lot of moving parts here because there's different types of content that needs to be created for each piece. So for a recipe, you've got not just the recipe, but you have video content and you have photo content, and then you've got social media assets. So it takes, someone, to manage all of that. And on a schedule. And of course, now we're on more of an editorial schedule than ever before. Before it used to be like, oh, what do I feel like cooking today? What kind of recipe should I make today? And now it's like, okay, we're planning for Valentine's. And we're planning for a new year. What should we be publishing? And then I have my web developers in Washington, and then she has an assistant. And then there's also one more web developer that helps out. And then I have a videographer that comes in whenever I have to do something for television or if I need to shoot some video. Okay. So,
what's, as I say this, like a team, not necessarily directed at you, but your team. What's the biggest challenge that you have right now?
What's my biggest challenge? It's me as a bottleneck. Because, I have a certain style of writing and a certain, persona on when I do media, and I want to make sure everything's consistent because I've got so many people writing content and writing recipes. So it has to stay consistent. And the bottleneck is actually me. And I need to, we have certain editorial standards now, but, getting to that point, I started January 1st with just myself, and, to grow with the team to be what it is now, it takes work to set standards and to have things written down and, an SOP. And we're still working on that. So, that's the toughest part. My focus now is more, public relations. So I'll do the media outreach, and I'll do, I'll work on the content for when I do television segments. And, I've finally have found a good balance where it's not the 4-hour work week anymore, but it's also not, 40-hour job. I might work maybe, 15 hours now, maybe 20 if, on my busy weeks, but I do limit how much I work because I know what makes me happy. And at the end of the day, like, that business has to serve me. I don't want to ever be in a position where I have to do something because I have to do it. I have to design the business and the team that supports me to fit the lifestyle and the happiness that, I want to create.
That's great to hear. It sounds like you have a pretty good, all things considered. Are there specific roles you're trying to fill within the next year, or are you content?
Yes, absolutely. The immediate role that I'm actively looking for is a videographer that can give me a few more hours and that can join my team, that has not just the technical ability, but also the creative ability to help me create an online show. I want to package up a show to pitch to streaming networks around, food waste. meal planning backwards, and bootable recipes. So I already know in my mind what I want. I can see it already, but I need someone to help me execute that graphically and design wise and creatively.
Okay, so that's a video person.
Yeah.
So let's finish this up here. Where do you see yourself in 1 to 2 years? Like, how do you want to grow this baby that you have now?
The funny thing is I never want it to be too big. I have friends where we started around the same time food blogging, and they have blown up their brand and on television have their own shows and merchandise. And sometimes I have that pang of jealousy or the FOMO, like, oh, that could have been me. Oh my God, I could have done that. But then I have to take a breath, really breathe and think about, okay, what do I really want? Do I really want to be that busy? Do I really want to be famous? And the answer is no, I don't. I want to do good. I want to do good in the world. I want to make a difference. And that's my focus. And that could just mean just continuing to do what I do. And that makes me happy because, I don't want to work that much. I want to enjoy my life right now because you have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't want to I don't want to put all this effort and work and hours in and then realize that, oh my gosh, I miss my kids, or I should wish I've taken up this hobby. So, I can't answer that question right now. I actually don't ever think that far ahead anyways.
Oh, okay. Well,
I do quarterly planning. So I do quarterly planning, and I might plan 6 months in advance, but no more than 6 months.
Okay. Well, I think on that note, that's a good way to close up the interview. I think all things considered, especially now with what's going on right now in the world, you have it pretty good. I think you know that too.
Yeah, I do. I'm very fortunate, very grateful, super grateful.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on board.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey marketers, Dean here. So if you're new to this channel is focused on digital advertising and marketing. If you want to keep improving your marketing game, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, like, and bell icon. It's the best way to get notification of new content by yours truly. Plus, it helps with the algorithmic thingamajiggy that YouTube does. Don't ask me what it does. It just does. As always, stay curious.